Governor Mills signed the supplemental budget into law today. She says the proposal funds public safety and mental health initiatives. It strengthens storm response and recovery efforts and addresses urgent needs like housing, education, health and health care, child protection, opioid epidemic, and more. The supplemental budget represents $127.4 million in appropriations and would result in a $10.47 billion budget. Currently, the budget is $10.34 billion. That includes over $285 million in tax relief per year. The budget proposal was passed by the legislature last week.